You've been told your whole life that saving money is the smart thing to do. Put it in a savings account, they said. Play it safe, but here's the truth no one told you. If you're just saving money, you're actually losing it. Every dollar sitting in your bank account is quietly bleeding value. Inflation is rising, interest rates are low, and the so-called safe route, it's costing you more than you think. Not just money, but time, opportunity, and your financial future. Meanwhile, there's a quiet force working 24/7, one that the wealthy swear by, one that turns even small investments into massive gains over time. That force is compounding. And once you understand how it works, you'll realize just how broken the saving-only mindset really is. This isn't about throwing your money into risky schemes. It's about using time and growth to your advantage, instead of letting fear and outdated advice hold you back. In this video, I'm going to break down the difference between saving and compounding, and show you in simple terms why saving alone is no longer enough. I'll walk you through real examples, numbers that matter, and practical steps you can take today to stop losing money and start building real wealth. Because once you see the math, you won't look at your bank account the same way again. So if you're ready to stop playing defense with your finances and start growing your money the smart way, stay with me. This might just be the most important money lesson you hear all year. Number 1, growth potential, linear versus exponential. Let's start with the most fundamental difference, the way your money grows. When you save, your money grows in a straight, predictable, linear line. That means if you save $100 a month in a year, you'll have $1,200. Simple, clear, but also kind of underwhelming. Now compare that to compounding, where your money doesn't just grow, it accelerates. Compounding is exponential, which means that growth doesn't stay steady. It builds upon itself. Picture a snowball rolling down a hill. With each roll, it picks up more snow, gets bigger, and rolls faster. That's how compounding works. Your money earns returns, then those returns start earning returns, and the cycle keeps going. Let's break that down in real numbers. If you invest $1,000 and get a 10% return, you make $100 in year 1. But in year 2, you don't just make another $100, you make $110 because your return is calculated on $1,100 now. Year after year, this snowball of earnings continues to grow, not just from your initial investment, but from the gains you've already made. This is the engine behind massive long-term wealth. Saving doesn't do this. Your savings sit in a bank account, growing at maybe 1% interest, if that. So in a decade, you might earn a few $100s. But with compounding, that same money could multiply, double, triple, even 10 times, given enough time and the right return. That's not hype. That's math. Compounding rewards time, not timing. The earlier you start, the more powerful it becomes. Saving doesn't reward early action nearly as much. In fact, saving punishes procrastination less than compounding does, but that's also why it never gives you the same reward. Compounding has a slow start, but a rocket finish. Saving is the opposite, steady at first, but eventually left in the dust. If you're only saving, you're working against time. But when you're compounding, time works for you. Number 2, purpose, preservation versus growth. Let's talk about purpose. Why do people save versus why they invest for compounding? Saving is all about preservation. You're putting money away to keep it safe, to protect it. It's like locking your cash in a vault where you can access it easily, but it doesn't really do anything. It just sits. Saving is perfect for short-term needs, like emergencies, an upcoming bill, or a vacation you're planning in the next year. It's your financial cushion. But compounding, that's about growth. It's the complete opposite mindset. You're not just keeping your money, you're putting it to work. You're allowing it to live in an environment where it can multiply over time. Compounding isn't about instant access or safety. It's about letting go of a little control now in exchange for much bigger returns later. Here's the truth most people miss. Trying to grow your wealth through saving is like trying to climb a mountain by walking in circles. You'll get tired, but you won't get anywhere meaningful. Compounding, on the other hand, takes you upward. Slowly at first, yes, but steadily, purposefully. Eventually, the climb becomes momentum and then acceleration. When you save, your goal is to not lose money. When you compound, your goal is to gain it. That's a huge philosophical difference. One is rooted in fear. Fear of loss, fear of risk, fear of change. The other is built on understanding that with smart, patient investing, your money can do far more than just sit still. Also consider this. Savings lose value over time due to inflation. That's the hidden danger. Every year, your money buys a little less. It's like having a melting ice cube in your pocket. You don't see it dripping, but it's disappearing just the same. Compounding helps beat inflation by outpacing it with returns. So while saving preserves what you have today, compounding builds what you need for tomorrow. And in a world where prices keep rising, growth isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Number 3, risk. Perceived safety versus strategic risk. Now let's get real about risk, because this is where most people get stuck. When we talk about saving, it feels safe. Your money is sitting in a bank. You can see it, access it, touch it. There's no volatility, no market swings, no chance of it suddenly dropping in value overnight. On paper, saving looks like the smart, cautious choice. But here's the catch, that safety is an illusion. Why? Because while your money isn't disappearing, it's depreciating. Inflation is quietly stealing its value. Think about it. A loaf of bread that cost $1 10 years ago might cost $2 today. That same dollar in your bank account didn't grow to match it. So technically, you lost purchasing power, even though the number in your bank didn't change. That's a real risk people ignore. On the other side, compounding through investing does involve market risk. Your investments can go up or down in the short term. That's undeniable. But unlike saving, which gives you stability and stagnation, investing offers volatility and opportunity. The key difference? Over time, risk gets reduced, especially in long-term, diversified investments. Historically, the longer you stay invested, the more likely you are to come out ahead. Time is the ultimate risk tamer in compounding. There's also something powerful in controlling your risk. With saving, you're just reacting to inflation and interest rates. With investing, you can choose your risk profile. Stocks, bonds, real estate, ETFs. You can balance growth potential and volatility in a way that suits your goals. Here's the mindset shift. Safe doesn't always mean smart, and risky doesn't always mean reckless. Strategic risk, when managed well, is the price of entry to long-term wealth. Avoiding risk entirely, that's the price of staying stuck. So yes, compounding involves risk, but so does standing still while everything around you moves forward. That's the quiet danger of saving-only strategies. Number 4, time horizon. Short-term access versus long-term vision. Here's another big one, your timeline. Saving and compounding play by different clocks. If you need your money next week, next month, or even next year, saving is your friend. It's quick, accessible, and predictable. That's why it works well for emergencies or near-term goals. The timeline is short, so you want your cash ready, but compounding lives on a longer timeline. It thrives over years, not days. The more time you give it, the more explosive the results. Remember, compounding is slow in the beginning, almost boring, but give it 5, 10, 20 years, it starts to outperform almost anything. It turns small, consistent investments into big results. Time is the engine. Think of saving like a sprint, quick, focused, immediate. Compounding is the marathon. It demands patience, consistency, and trust in the process. And here's what most people get wrong. They treat long-term goals, like retirement, wealth building, or legacy planning, with a short-term mindset. They try to save their way there. But those goals require growth, not just security. When you rely solely on saving for long-term goals, you'll likely come up short. Inflation will nibble at your money. Low interest will slow your progress. You'll have to work harder, save more, and still might not reach your target. Compounding flips the script. You invest once, and over time, the money starts working harder than you do. Also, and this is important, compounding rewards consistency over perfection. You don't need to time the market perfectly. You just need to stay in it consistently. Saving doesn't offer this leverage. It offers predictability, yes, but not power. So if your goal is short-term security, saving has its place. But for anything beyond a few years out, compounding isn't just better, it's essential. Number 5, emotional impact. Comfort now versus confidence later. Money isn't just math, it's emotion. The way we feel about money often drives how we use it. And this is where the psychological difference between saving and compounding becomes crystal clear. Saving gives you comfort now. There's a certain calm that comes from seeing money in your account. It's visible, it's there, and it gives you a sense of control. You feel secure knowing you have a safety net. This feeling is especially strong for people who grew up around financial instability, because saving represents security, even survival. And that emotion is valid, it's powerful. But here's the flip side. Compounding gives you confidence in the future. When you invest and watch your portfolio grow over time, you're not just building wealth, you're building belief. Belief that your future doesn't depend on how much you work, but how smartly your money works for you. That confidence is earned. It doesn't come right away, especially during times when markets dip or when you feel uncertain. But as your compounding portfolio grows, so does your trust in the process. You begin to realize, I don't need to panic. I don't need to chase fast money. I'm on a path that works. The problem with relying only on saving is that you constantly have to refill your emotional tank. You see your account go down when you spend, and it stresses you out. You're always playing defense. With compounding, once the flywheel gets moving, you start playing offense. And that shift, or from scarcity to abundance, is a game changer. So yes, saving gives peace of mind today, but compounding builds financial freedom tomorrow. And when you start thinking in decades, not days, your emotional relationship with money begins to evolve. From fear to control, from stress to strategy. You start asking, how can I build wealth? Not how can I just not run out? That's a powerful transformation. Number 6, income role, active deposits versus passive growth. Let's talk about how money moves in both systems, saving and compounding, and what that means for your role in building wealth. When you're saving, your growth depends entirely on active deposits. In other words, you have to keep putting money in to see any meaningful increase. It's a system powered by your effort. If you stop saving, the growth stops too. The moment you stop working, your money stops growing. That creates a cycle of constant input. Save, 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 or stall. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with a leaky faucet. You're always adding water, but never really getting ahead. Now let's look at compounding. In this system, your money creates its own income. You invest once, and that investment starts generating returns. Those returns then generate their own returns. Suddenly, you're not the only one working for your money. Your money is working for you. This is the essence of passive income growth. And it's not just for the wealthy. It's for anyone willing to shift from a save-only mindset to an invest-and-hold strategy. Here's the magic. Over time, the returns from compounding can actually exceed your contributions. That means the money your investments make starts to outgrow the money you put in. Think about that. Imagine your investment earnings adding more to your future than you ever could through pure saving. Let's put it in real terms. If you save $10,000 over a few years, that's $10,000 plus maybe a little interest. But if you invest that same $10,000 wisely and let it compound for 20 to 30 years at a 7% annual return, it could turn into $70,000 or more. That extra $60,000, you didn't work for it. You didn't clock in. Your money earned it because you understood how compounding works. So while saving makes you the engine of your financial growth, compounding allows you to become the architect, designing a system that keeps growing, even when you're sleeping, traveling, or retired. It's the shift from income-dependent growth to asset-driven wealth. Number 7, inflation resistance, losing ground versus gaining ground. Inflation is that invisible force eating away at your money every single year, and it doesn't ask for your permission. Prices rise, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but either way, the value of your money drops over time. So the real question is this: is your money keeping up, or is it falling behind? When you rely solely on saving, you are almost guaranteed to lose ground to inflation. Even the best high-yield savings accounts typically offer interest rates that lag behind inflation. For example, if your savings account gives you 2% interest, but inflation is at 4%, then every year you're effectively losing 2% in purchasing power. The number in your account might stay the same or rise a little, but what that money can actually buy, that's shrinking. Now enter compounding. Compounding, especially through investments like index funds, stocks, or real estate, has the potential to outpace inflation consistently. Historically, the average stock market return over the long term is around 7 to 10% annually. After inflation, that's still a strong 5 to 7% real return. This means your money isn't just preserving its value, it's growing beyond the rising cost of living. That's a huge difference. If saving is treading water, then compounding is swimming forward. One keeps you barely afloat, the other moves you toward your goals. And here's the thing, inflation is guaranteed. It's not a risk, it's a reality. So if you're not actively investing in compounding, you're not just standing still. You're moving backwards slowly, and you won't feel the damage until it's too late, until rent is higher, groceries cost more, and retirement feels twice as expensive as you planned for. This is why millionaires and smart investors don't just save money, they protect it from inflation by growing it. Compounding isn't just about wealth building, it's about wealth protection. It's the shield that guards your future purchasing power. So if you're serious about preserving your lifestyle, your freedom, and your financial dignity over the long haul, compounding isn't optional, it's essential. Saving can't win the fight against inflation, but compounding can, and it does year after year. Number 8, accessibility. Instant gratification versus delayed gratitude. This next one is less about numbers and more about behavior, the way we think and act with money. Saving gives you instant access. That's one of its biggest selling points. You can log into your bank account, transfer the money, spend it, or withdraw it, all within minutes. There's a sense of control and flexibility that feels good. You can respond quickly to life. And yes, for emergencies, that's a good thing. But here's the problem. Easy access invites easy temptation. When your savings are just one click away, it's easy to dip into them. For that sale, that gadget, that short trip you hadn't planned, that's why so many people find themselves saving money and then spending it again a few months later. Compounding, on the other hand, requires delayed gratification. Your money is invested, maybe in a stock market portfolio or retirement account or a mutual fund. You can't or shouldn't pull it out quickly. And that friction, while it may seem inconvenient at first, is actually a psychological advantage. It protects your money from you. Compounding forces you to think long-term. You're not looking at your balance every day wondering what to buy. You're looking at your future wondering what to build. That delay in access makes it less tempting to spend impulsively. It shifts your mindset from, what can I afford today, to what will I create for tomorrow? And here's the truth. Wealth is rarely built in moments of instant gratification. It's built over time, with patience, discipline, and a willingness to wait for results. Compounding teaches you those traits. Saving often lets you avoid them. Of course, having some cash in savings for emergencies is smart, but once that's in place, the real transformation happens when you choose to lock your money into a future-focused vehicle and let compounding do its quiet work. Saving says, I want to feel safe now. Compounding says, I want to be free later. And those two voices lead to very different financial outcomes. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself, because this isn't just about money, it's about mindset. And hey, if you're ready for more deep, no-fluff financial truth, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the movement. We're not just saving money here. We're changing the way we think about it. This is your future. Start compounding it. I'll see you in the next one.